Hey, what's up, YouTube? So this is gonna be part 8 of the MR2 K24 K20 build. As you can see, we got our block basically assembled with our studs. I'm still waiting on the oil pump, but today I can go ahead and install the head at least with my Cometic head gasket. And I'm also gonna upgrade my cams, just stock ones, but just the K20 A2s, they don't really make that much power compared to at least like a Z1 or a Z3. So I'm gonna get those tomorrow as well. I'm gonna just take them off the Z3 I have. And then we'll do timing the new cams and then put the oil pump on. But just today, it's still gonna be the same video. For right now, I'm gonna show you guys how to drop the head on. So it's pretty simple. Just put the head gasket on. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that set. And then we'll just go ahead and slap the head on. But what you need to know is the front and the rear. So this is the water port for the heater hoses. So that's how you know, and this is where you see the code at. Another way to know is your valves, the intake valves are bigger than the exhaust valve. So this is my intake side, this is my exhaust side. So we're gonna go ahead and slap the head on, and then we'll come back and then start getting down to torque specs. All right, so now we got the head on here with the gasket, not torqued down yet. Well, also when you're doing the ARP studs, you just tighten them by hand. You don't want to torque them down too much because they torque off of the actual stud itself. So yeah, make sure you do that. So as you can see, this is my exhaust side and my intake side. So now that it's starting to look like an engine, we can start torquing the bolts down. I believe it's about 80 pounds of foot torque for these. So I'm gonna go ahead, put some assembly lube on there, torque these down, and then we'll go ahead and start throwing on the valve train or the rocker assembly, and then make sure we show you how the rocker pins are supposed to go, because some people don't actually lock them down like this and they lose some pins and they pop out. They're kind of under pressure. So I'm gonna just make sure I go through every single one of them to make sure that the pins are in the correct place, because it's the opposite side for each rocker valve assembly. So I'm gonna go ahead and torque this down, and then we'll come back to that. All right, before I actually start torquing my head bolts down, I just want to show you that there is a way to actually torque the head down in a pattern. So I like to start at top, then the middle, and then exit from each one from side up to side, and then same as the outside, just X. And I start off with like a 25 pound-foot of torque, and then I'll probably raise it to like 50, and then I'll probably do like 65, and then I'll finish up at 80. So just, you want to take your time when doing this, especially because you don't want anything to go on here weird or whatever. But just letting you guys know what you should do when torquing them down. So I'm gonna go ahead and torque that down, and then we'll come back to the rocker arm assembly so I can show you guys how the pins work. All right, so the head is completely torqued down now, and the next thing we're gonna be installing is the little springs for the VTEC lobe, which is this right here. I like to install them the way they were actually rolling. So basically just like that, with the lobe running in the same position. So I can just start installing these right now, that you guys see. So there's 8 of these. Doesn't really matter where they go unless you're really like picky about putting things in the same exact place, which is fine. So yeah, it's got 2 more to go real fast. All right, so now those are in place. Now we can go to the rocker assembly. And I wanted to show you guys because, like I said, some people, they pop out. This is the one that usually pops out. And this is the, I believe, intake side. But either way, This is the spring that goes in, and you know, like I said, it's pressurized. This one's just like a dead stud. There's nothing, it doesn't have no pressure. And then this one is just to lock it in, so it's like a lock washer, I guess. And that's basically it. Also, when installing, you for the bolts, in order to go through, you got to make sure these are about the same. Make sure that twisted out a little bit. Yeah, because the bolts won't go in, you'll wonder why they're stuck. So as far as on this side, that's how it is. On the other side, it's the opposite. So the spring one is going to be on over here, and then the dead stud's going to be on this side instead. So I made sure they were all good. I checked them all out, and so I'm gonna put this rocker back on, and then we'll go ahead and throw it onto the head so we can get ready to put the cams on. All right, so as you can see, I kind of have all the rockers assembly up because they're really hard to like set down if like one's flopping down on one side and then you have to lift it up. That's another reason why I have these zip ties on there. So I just wanted to show you, this is how exactly how I install it. So if anybody has problems, which it took me a couple times to kind of master it, but I'm getting a little better every time I build. So just want to let you guys know that. So right now we'll go ahead, start dropping them down, and then we can cut the zip ties and install our camshafts. But I don't think I'm gonna put the cams on right now. I'll probably just show you how they go on and then just kind of put the caps on top. But I am gonna, like I said, change to Z3 cams instead. So just gonna show you a little example. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and take these zip ties off and get ready to throw on these rockers, and I'll show you the way they're supposed to go. All right, so we're back. Cut the zip ties and everything off, so everything's basically all Lucased up for engine assembly. I use a lot of Lucas because, I mean, for when you're really doing your first start, you don't want to have no dry cranks because that's how you get scarring and everything, and once you get scarring, it only gets worse. So right now, this is the crank side, so the cam gears are going to go on this side. So this is my intake side, this is my exhaust side. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab my camshaft. This is a 50-degree camshaft because it's a stock K series K20 camshaft. So just gonna put it on for temporary for right now. Oops. To show you guys. All right, let's make sure that the arrow is up. Not really doing timing right now, but just to kind of give you guys an example. Alright, so let's make sure the arrows match up as best as possible, but probably not. So I'm just gonna kind of leave it like that. And so we'll go to these right here. So these are also numbered. So this is gonna be obviously our timing chain guide. So this is gonna be number 1. So go ahead and line that up in there like that. So that's 1. The arrow 2 is gonna be always facing towards the crank. So number 2. And number 3, same arrow, going the same way. And as you notice, like I said, that adjustment for the actual roller rocker dial, just make sure that they're facing that way, so the bolts slide in real easy. And this is our last one, number 5. And as you can see, the number has to match the rocker so you don't get that confused. But that's basically it, guys. So that's gonna be the end of this video. I did get my all my timing chain, all new stuff, and tensioner. I'm just waiting for my oil pump now, so that'll be the last of this engine build. So we're gonna be putting the chain on, crank pulley. We'll be doing the timing as well as adjusting the valves, and throwing a couple sensors on and getting it ready. I gotta get my water pump housing off of my A3 motor, so I'll be taking that off as well. And yeah, that's basically gonna be it for today, guys. So if you haven't liked, share, subscribe, let me know what you think. If you want to get in contact with me, is K Series Works on Instagram. It's probably the easiest way for anybody. If you want to hit me up on an email, it's honda.mike1988@gmail.com. And stay tuned, guys. Like I said, plenty of content coming in. Spider, Z1, whole bunch of other stuff. So I'll see you guys later.